Hi, I'm Michelle Chin, and this is a bite-sized artistic appetizer for Seussical the Musical. Did you know that Theodore Seuss Geisel, better known as Dr. Seuss, won a special Pulitzer Prize in 1984? This was for entertaining and educating the parents and youth of America for nearly half a century. I love that it was for not just the children. I feel like oftentimes we think about Dr. Seuss books as being geared towards kids, which they're wonderful gifts, wonderful books to read to young people. But they're also for adults. They're for anyone, really. I think the messages, the wonderful illustrations, all of the beautiful color, all of that is such a great way to remember how imagination is something we all need to remember. Seussical the Musical pays homage to many of these books and stories, and really is a story for everyone. For the musical theater fans out there, Lynn Ahrens and Stephen Flaherty wrote the music. If you know the musical Ragtime, they also wrote that score. And another fun fact is that Lynn Ahrens also used to write for Schoolhouse Rock, so another perfect fit for Seussical the Musical. If you love those lush scores, there's wonderful harmonies. The music is so infectious. There's lots of bops in it, and it really is just an enjoyable time. When the musical was in development, it was really apparent that this story wasn't just for kids, that it was for everyone. All of the adult producers that came and saw the show immediately knew that there was something magical about this show. It just drew everyone into the story. And I think the way the story is portrayed also helps with that. Instead of seeing everyone dressed in like cartoon-like costumes, all of the actors are dressed in things that suggest the characters that they're playing, but also you can see them as the human beings that they are. I think this time of year is a wonderful time to remember that human connection and how we can help one another. Another thing that's really unique about the story is the character of JoJo, who you get to meet at the top of the show, and they represent any child, and it also shows that children have that innate sense of wonder and imagination, and that they can conjure up anything that they could possibly want. And sometimes I think as adults, we forget that. And I think Seussical the Musical is a wonderful way to remember the power of imagination and how that can affect all of us when we sit together in a theater and we see, wow, anything's possible, which is also a song in the show. As they were deciding which characters and stories to feature in the show, Horton the Elephant became one that everyone agreed needed to be in this musical. Who doesn't love Horton? He's so lovable and kind. So they decided to put many of his different books into the show. He sits on the egg that Maisie leaves him and goes on many adventures. And there's also a recurring lyric that he says many times. He becomes friends with JoJo, and he realizes that he's this tiny little who, and so he says, a person's a person no matter how small. And JoJo also ends up using this as a mantra, being a child in Whoville and feeling like no one's wanting to listen to their thinks. So they also say, a person's a person no matter how small. And I love that that lyric comes back over and over, because that's also a great reminder for us all to think about how every voice matters and every person matters. So I mentioned Seussical the Musical covers many different characters and books. A few of those would be McElligot's Pool, obviously The Cat in the Hat, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and there's another nod to one that I think is one that speaks to many people, not just kids, which is Oh, the Places You'll Go. I think that's one of the most popular graduation gifts, and I think that there's a reason why, because there's a line in the book that's actually in one of the songs in the show as well, which is, I've got brains in my head and feet in my shoes, and I can go wherever I choose. And I think that that is a great reminder that we all have the power to do whatever we would like. And I think that is such a great graduation present, because it empowers all of these young people, or people of any ages, that have gone and got this education and they're going off to explore the world, and that they can choose whatever path that they would like. A person's a person no matter how small. Seussical is a musical that entertains all. We hope you come and enjoy the show, and after you're done, oh, the places you'll go.